Welcome to the channel. This is the spiritual samurai scribe. The covert narcissist needs to control you in order to keep you because they have no love in them. You see, all of the mind games, the passive aggressiveness, the sabotaging, the breaking down your self-esteem and confidence, the betrayal, the putting you down, all these things, right, that go with that. These are things that it's like they need to break down your sense of self in every aspect of you, your hobbies, your interests, from the way you look. Now, this is the thing that I don't understand about I understand it, but it's like when you really think about it, if you hate what I like or what I'm about so much, why would you even get with me or try to get with me? You ever ask yourself that question? Because it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, here's the thing you have to understand about covert narcissists is that, like I said, they're hard to spot in the beginning because they know how to blend in perfectly. They're very subtle with how they throw their jabs, because they're really cowards, because they can't just outright tell you, hey, I don't like this about you or whatever. They don't have no type of balls, no courage, no guts, no glory. So you're gonna expect a lot of cowardly behavior from them. And the more I think about it, the more I have no respect for any of them whatsoever. And then they try to be slick. They think they're so slick. They think they're so smart because they're able to throw jabs at you and you don't even realize it, because, they're the type of people that disguise insults in jokes. You know how when people throw joke, they'll say a little joke and it's like it kind of made you feel some type of way. Like, I think you kind of went a little too far with that one. And then they'll turn around and say, oh, I was just kidding. Yeah, I love you, or you're my best friend, or that fake shit. They are the fakest people you'll ever meet, and because they're so subtle with it, you can't really react to it like you normally. You can't. It's like, you can check it. I don't give a fuck. I'll check that shit because I already know what this is. But for people that don't really know, or maybe they're on the fence on what this is, they're really good at like gaslighting you, because again, it's easy to gaslight you when the actions that they've done is so subtle that it even makes you question your reaction. You're like, you know what, maybe I am tripping. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. They have to bring down your confidence and self-esteem, and their hatred is real. They really hate you. And the fact that covert narcissists are so good at covering up how they really feel about you, it's very, honestly, it's daunting how well they can cover. They can keep that mask on for years. And you would think this is a genuine person. This is the definition of diabolical. When you can pretend to be somebody that you're not for years, and then you fall in love with the covert narcissist mask, thinking that that's a real person. And keep in mind that the covert narcissists, they like to steal from other people, right? Good people, talented people, other people's styles. Because honestly, they really don't have an identity. Just like all narcissists don't have no identity, the covert narcissists in specific, they also don't have an identity. So what you have to understand is that whenever you find yourself in a situation where they're constantly moving the goalposts, like, oh, now they want this, and then you give them what they want, now all of a sudden there's something else. They're always coming up with some shit to make you feel like you're not good enough. That's what they like to do, and that comes from not having their own identity, and also to fuck with your head, because that's essentially all they live for. And once you realize that all of this is a game, that's when you stop caring about them. You stop caring about, you start to look back at all the moments that you had with your covert narcissist from your past, and you realize that it was never about you. It had nothing to do with you. You're sitting here thinking that you're not worth anything, that this and that. They make you feel so worthless, and it feels terrible, because they know how to, like I said, they wear the mask very well. You actually believe that they're a good person, not realizing that you're laying next to a demon. Because that's basically what they are. They're very deceptive, and they know how to, like I said, man, don't get me started on those fake tears. I'm gonna make a video about that specifically, because I got a story about that, you know, the fake tears and stuff, and the vulnerable narcissists and their empathy traps. Man, I got some more coming with those topics, because that's stuff that is mind-bending shit. It's hard for you to not feel bad for them, because they know how to play that role so well. You know what I mean? And so when you check them, it's like you're not even thinking about checking them, because you're like, am I wrong? Because they know how to play victims so good. But like I said, when your eyes are sharp, when you sharpen the spiritual eye and your intuition and your overall knowledge of psychology, you put all that together, you're going to get so good at spotting them. You know, and I want people to get to that point, because I'm sick and tired of these people just taking advantage of good people and playing them for a fool, you know, because that's really the only people that they hurt are good people, if you think about it. Because if it wasn't for the empathy, right, they wouldn't even be dealing with them. The empathy is what keeps people trapped with covert narcissists. So essentially, the only people that the covert narcissist is destroying is pretty much, for the most part, is just good people. And that's what makes me so disgusted by them. They're hideous, you know? Now, the only way that they can keep you, right, is by breaking down your self-esteem and confidence. They have to control you. See, the covert narcissist has to control the way that you see yourself, right? And so they literally, like I said, you know, because they're so subtle, they're so subtle, you don't even see them coming. You know, they know how to get in your head to make you relinquish all the things that make you who you are, all your interests and hobbies, talking down on it, and then also playing mind games with you. And it also goes back to moving the goalpost. That's another way that they break down your confidence, is by doing that. Constantly, one moment they want this, you give them what they want, and then all of a sudden, no, now they want this other thing, you go and do the other thing. No, now they want to take a vacation here, how come you never take me out, and all that shit. And then you do all that just to find out that when you get to that vacation, she's gonna complain the whole time, and you could be in a fancy resort somewhere in the islands, and still not good enough. So it stresses the hell out of you, and they get a kick out of this. You notice that they got that little stupid smirk? I pay attention, I'm telling you. Only thing that a covert narcissist bitch gotta do is smirk in my face, say some stupid shit one more time, and smile at me. Smirk. Yeah, I see that smirk, because they think that I'm not paying attention. Don't talk to me. If you're a covert narcissist, you better stay the hell away from me, because I don't got no chill. I will hurt your feelings just by letting you know that I know what you're doing, without telling you that I know what you're doing. I have a way of doing that. I've done it before. She freaked the fuck out. Yeah, that's right. Don't fuck with me. So when you get to that level, it gets really fun, because it's like, it's so liberating. And that's the beautiful thing, is that you learn to love yourself in the end. And that's the thing that covert narcissists is not banking on. They do not want you to love yourself, because they can't control you. You notice that the only way they can control you is when you don't love yourself. Why do you think they try so hard to destroy your confidence, you know, to sabotage any prospects that you have going for yourself, business or career wise, creative, intellectual, whatever you have going on, you know? If you know who you are spiritually, they hate that, you know? They try so hard to break that down. Why do you think that covert narcissists like to infiltrate religion and spirituality? Because they want to be able to immerse themselves in a space where their future victims will be at. Now, how sick is that? What type of people are in those circles? Usually a lot of good people and empathetic people that are looking for, even the vulnerable too, the vulnerable population, people that need help, people that, you know, people that they can take advantage of. That's all they see. Because good people, for the most part, I would say pure-hearted people, especially the ones that are not awakened to what narcissistic abuse is, that see a lot of good people, they're not They're not thinking about that. They're not expecting it, right? And they wear their heart on their sleeve. And these covert narcissists, they know that. So that's their easy target. You know what I mean? One of the funniest things that I've encountered in my life is when a covert narcissist would assume that I'm an easy target. That's hilarious to me, you know, because I look young, you know. So because you look young, you look happy, vibrant, you know, I'm compassionate, I have a smile on my face. They think, oh yeah, she don't know nothing. No, you don't know nothing. You don't know what I know, and that's even more dangerous. But you gotta appreciate all the moments when people underestimated you, because they were in for a world of hurt, I'm telling you. Especially as awakened as I am now. You do not want to step up to me with those games. You do not want to, because it's dangerous at this point. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna find out how much I know without me telling you, because you never want to tell them directly with you know. At this point I don't give a fuck, because what are you gonna do? You can't manipulate me. So yeah, those days are over. Those days are through, you know. And you gotta thank the betrayals for teaching you lessons, especially for me at early ages. Yeah, I learned pretty early, and I'm carrying those lessons with me, and you can't stop that. So all that goofy shit that they do to make you feel insecure, make you feel like you're beneath them and all that, it's like, you gotta ask yourself this: why would anyone try so hard to make you believe that you're beneath them? It sounds like they're the ones with the inferiority complex. They're the ones that are truly the ones that are beneath you. But they try to switch that around. You see, the covert narcissist is all about swapping destinies, switching roles. They want to be you so bad. They pretend like they hate you, but then they start copying and emulating the things that you like. It goes back to the other video that I made about how the covert narcissist is threatened by your intuition and spiritual gifts, how they want to wear your old shirt. And then I was like, you can keep that, because we're about to walk into our royal garments, you know. And see, that's why they hate that, but they don't see that. They don't see that all they want to do is take as much from you until you become erased. And then when they take from you, they use that to destroy people. And not just people, they destroy good people. That's the thing that I have absolutely no respect for the covert narcissist whatsoever. And you really got to think about it. Who is the covert narcissist? What is their identity? Their identity shifts over time. Like, they constantly switch, change, this and that. You know, there's no consistency with them, because to be consistent, you would have to be a sane, stable-minded person. You have to be grounded. They're constantly changing identities because they're trying to confuse you, and they're trying to make you believe that you're not good enough. And that's connected to how they move the goalposts all the time. They'll, you know, verbally abuse you, mentally, emotionally abuse you, to really, they really want to make you believe that you're not as beautiful or handsome as you truly are. And see, they, like I said, they want to feel like they want you to venerate them without them actually, you know, being affectionate or loving toward you. In their minds, you're there to serve them only. It's all about what you can do for them. They don't believe in reciprocity. What is that? You see? But they play with your head so much that they'll make you believe that you're the one that's selfish. You're the one that wants all this out of them, when really they never gave you they never gave you shit the entire time that you've been with them, or that you're associated with them. Isn't that crazy how they do that? And that goes back to your empathy, because you could, you know, it's like they play on that, you know. And I'm gonna have to make another video about that, because that's a whole thing, the empathy trap. You know, you're concerned about the baby trap, you need to worry about the empathy trap, because that comes before the baby trap. You know, so be careful with that. But yeah, and you gotta understand this, like, you know, they have to control you. You see, when you were dealing with the covert narcissist, it was never about love. It was all about control, pure control. That's what makes them wet, is control, power over another person. It's not about love. You're not going to get love from them. They don't know what that is. They don't even care for it. They just want to control you. That's it. That's all. Why is that? Why are they so controlling? What is up with them? Because that's how insecure they are. They're very jealous. They're fueled by jealousy. And also they know that deep down, they could never keep you genuinely. They don't possess the traits to genuinely make you want to be with them. Really think about that for a second, because they know, like I said, they keep switching their identities. They keep, doing all this. Who they truly are in the core of them is not really what you wanted. You never wanted them. That's the truth. If you knew who they were internally, they're ugly as hell, right? But you wouldn't want them. They don't even know who they are, right? And so in the core of their being, that being is something that is not attractive to anyone. And because they never took the time to cultivate themselves, instead they've been wasting time hating other people, hating on others, trying to sabotage other people, and they've been wasting all this time destroying people. That is why they have not cultivated their own identity. And so therefore there's nothing there inside them. They're empty. I'm not talking about the empty feeling that you feel when you're hurt. I'm talking about they're empty as far as they have no substance. They have to take it from someone else. That's why they hijack spirituality and religion. They don't actually believe in that religion or in that spiritual path. They're not actually walking in that path at all. They don't subscribe to none of that. They don't subscribe to, they genuinely just don't have nothing inside them. They're not intellectual. They're not bright. Then they have no depth. They don't even try to, but they'll be jealous of those who have those traits, not realizing that the reason why other people have that is because they've cultivated their own identity. They focused on themselves. They weren't trying to sabotage and destroy people. But the covert narcissist, their entire existence is in trying to seize, stop, and steal, and break. Do what they can to make themselves feel like they're above others without actually putting in any meaningful work. They don't like work. So if a covert narcissist ever tries to tell you that, they try to tell you you're the narcissist, that's funny, because this is how you know you're not a narcissist. Have you put in any meaningful work on yourself, whether it be healing work, shadow work, investing into yourself, taking accountability for your actions, improving your life, and genuinely becoming a better human being? Have you been really serious about your self-improvement journey, your personal and spiritual growth? If you've done any of those things, you ain't no there's no way that you're a narcissist. But they'll try to, like I said, they're all about making you feel or look like you're them. They want you to walk around with their baggage, and then they feel like that allows them to walk scot-free if they can make other people believe that you are the covert narcissist, and the covert narcissist is you. That's how, in their minds, they can run away from accountability. But again, this is why you have to cut them off. This is why you should not have anything to do with them, because that's all they're going to do. They're going to use you as a trash can, to dump all their shit on. And then they get to point the finger and say, you see, she's the one or he's the one that's trash. But whose trash is it? Whose trash is it? There you go. So again, it was never about love with the covert narcissist. It's strictly control. And why is that? The core of the truth is that you never wanted the narcissist. See, this is crazy. You might think, well, you're heartbroken because, you found out that you fell in love with an illusion, and the covert narcissist was never the person that they showed you during the love bombing stage. You're so heartbroken because you realize the covert narcissist never loved you because it was all about control, right? But let me tell you something. Not only did they not love you, but you didn't love them. And you're like, what do you mean? But I did love them. You might, you genuinely felt love for them. Yes, you felt a deep affection for them. But here's the thing. How can you love someone that you don't know? But you've been with them for years, right? Or maybe months, years, whatever. Yeah, true, but what you fell in love with didn't even exist. So can you truly say that you've ever been in love with them? When the only thing that you loved was the illusion that they displayed, the facade that kept you from leaving? What if I told you that maybe it's easier for you to leave when you realize that you fell in love with an illusion the entire time? That the person that you thought loved never existed. You fell in love really with the reflection of yourself. And we've heard a lot of other people say that too. But I really want to really drill this into your head so that that you can be, so that you can break the trauma bond. We're here to break trauma bonds, because trauma bonds is not love at all. It's control, it's spiritual bondage, and it needs to be severed. And that's what we're doing here. And so once you realize that you never truly loved them, simply because you never knew who they really were in the first place. If you truly knew who they were, then you would understand why they need to control you in order to keep you. Think about it. What type of person needs to control you to keep you? That sounds like a fucking piece of shit. A psychotic person that's unstable as hell. They don't love you. They obsess over you. They want to own you. They want to enslave you. That's not love. That's not love at all. And you didn't love them either. You feel all these emotions, right? You feel all this, once upon a time you felt desire and affection, longing for them. But it wasn't for them. It was their facade. Their facade is what you fell in love with. And it never existed, because that's not who they are. So in reality, you don't love them either. And the sooner you realize that, the easier it will be for you to release the trauma bond, release that toxic soul tie, and stop letting their essence have control over your sense of self, and be able to let go and move on with your life. Because in reality, once you understand why they need to go to great lengths to control you in order to keep you, that just goes to show you that they can't keep shit. They don't have the ability to actually genuinely make a person want to stay with them without the manipulation, without the gaslighting, the witchcraft, because they will try to put a love spell on you or other type of spells to keep you from leaving, and then connect it with all of the, like I said, the gaslighting, the mind games, the psychological warfare. If you have to do all of that, I don't even want to know who you are. I don't even want to know who you truly are, because it's like, if you have to go to those great lengths to do goofy shit to make someone not leave you, that lets me know that that's definitely not a catch, but more like a release. Now release from that spiritual bondage, and don't ever look back.